saw Chuck Berry play the guitar on television, I said, man, that's what I want to do. And I kind of liked the sound of the guitar. And when I was in 6th grade, my teacher let me take home her ukulele for the weekend. And I really fell in love with the stringed instrument since then. But it took me a couple of years before I got my own guitar. I didn't get one until 1966 for Christmas. And that's when I started playing, sitting in my bedroom learning how to strum chords and stuff like that. All I could do is play 2 strings. That was the first song I learned. But the first song that had chords in it was a Beatles song called I'll Follow the Sun. So I could actually play 4 or 5 more chords. My plan was not to play in front of audiences. As a matter of fact, my mother really hated the fact that I played the guitar, although she bought me the first one, but she wasn't too crazy about it. But whenever company came over, on Saturday nights, guess who had to go get his guitar and come out and entertain? So that was my first audience was friends and my folks. Hi, I'm Stann Champion. Welcome to the Roots Room. I'm a musician and a guitar player, and this is our place. My mother-in-law, Merla, which is a couple of doors down, she loved to cook. She retired. She decided to have a restaurant, and the restaurant had a little extra space. There was a stage here. We put in some more equipment, and we decided to have a place here for musicians to be themselves, to build up their repertoire, to build a following, and actually, work on their gifts. So this is why we're here. This is the Roots Room. Chose me, and that's when my career as a professional started from then and there. Other than that, I was just playing on the side and didn't really care where I was playing. I just wanted to play. But after that changed. We've got spirit in our music. There's love in our song. Gypsy dancer, dancing to my roots rock songs. Nosotros tenemos espíritu, nuestra música, y amo en nuestra canción. Ella es una bailarina gitana, bailando a mi roots rock canción. Down in Jamaica and recorded Bob Marley's studio down at Tough Gone. And by the time we returned back here, is when we started the reggae scene in Chicago, and that was like August of 1980. And then I've been playing the reggae music since then. I mean, I played everything, but reggae had chose me at that time. I spent most of my time doing that. Why roots? Because it's part of our African heritage. As the slaves came from Africa, they were shipped over to the Caribbean and then distributed from the Western Hemisphere from there. So that's kind of basically where we took the sound, basically back from the United States, back to the Caribbean, and back to Africa. That's why it has a big African, Caribbean approach to it, or we call tropical roots. Actually, I didn't plan on being a professional musician. I just loved to play. And actually playing was like a way of healing for me. I kind of sometimes just strum the pain away. Sometimes I just play chords and things like that, and sometimes things would be bothering me, and I would just play just to soothe that. I didn't really plan on getting in front of an audience because I just wanted to play the guitar. But when I finally learned how to play, I wanted to play with someone else, because as a musician, that's the greatest thing you can do, is once you learn how to play, is to play with some other musicians. And when I played with other musicians, then you played in front of other audiences. We used to practice in this garage, and girls would stop by and say hello and stuff like that. So it was kind of nice. The other extreme is a band of me and a couple of high school friends formed together. We all were playing baseball too, because that's another thing too. We had our lives structured so much. We worked a part-time job, we went to school, we played music, and we played sports. Other than that, you just slept and ate. So that was it. That's why we stayed out of trouble. I started working in the private sector. Actually, before I graduated from college, I was working in the private sector. And actually, music was just a buffer between that 9 to 5, and it was something that was mine after 5 o'clock. But still, at that time, earlier, we just played. I got with a band, and we would rehearse, a couple of days a week, so we can just have something that we did outside of our lives. It's like our hobby, or what they call pro-am. Well, it didn't start right away. The agency I worked for, actually, they would hire me out for some of the clients were car dealerships, and car dealerships would have these sales, selling cars. So they would invite my band, and we'd come out, and they set a stage up, and we would perform. I made my agency look good, so it was kind of a nice thing. I was doing both at the same time, and action. Someone said, "Hey, Stann, I can show you a song." Hey, 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 hey. I'm from Detroit City where the boogie was born. I've been boogieing since 51. Taught to me by a man named John. On the corner of Rush and 51. Children. Boogie. Boogie children. I'm like an airplane conductor when it comes to my life. I'm like a ship conductor when it comes to my life. Keep giving me a jive, I'll put you off my flight. I ain't kidding. No fooling. Ain't kidding. No fooling. Boogie children. If anybody wants to know anything about the Roots Room, we're located at Kimball and Foster in Chicago. And you can reach us at our website, rootsroom.net. Stop on by.